One of the most well-known episodes of Season 2 is Lisa's Substitute, the 19th episode of the season, 32nd overall, first broadcasted on April 25th, 1991, written by Jon Vitti and directed by Rich Moore. In the episode, Miss Hoover falls ill with a suspected case of Lyme disease, and she's replaced by a substitute teacher named Mr. Bergstrom, played by Dustin Hoffman. Even though it doesn't say it in the top credits, but I'll get to that in just a second. Because of his unorthodox teaching methods, Lisa quickly takes a liking to them. Just as Lisa's about to tell Mr. Bergstrom to come over for his parents' house for dinner, Miss Hoover returns. Meanwhile, Bart runs for class president against Martin Prince, but loses due to the fact that nobody in the class voted, with the exception of Martin and one of his supporters. So, insert your obvious, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris 2024 presidential election conspiracy theories right there. Because I know some of you out there might have had that, but anyway, back to the episode here. And this is one of the more well-known episodes because of, again, like I said before, Mr. Bergstrom is played by two-time Academy Award winner Sam Eddick. No, actually, it's Dustin Hoffman. So, why is he credited as Sam Eddick, you might ask? Well, Hoffman wasn't sure if he wanted to be identified with a cartoon show at the time, like many early guest stars on The Simpsons, and therefore used the pseudonym Sam Eddick in the closing credits. Sam Eddick is a play on the word Semitic, alluding to the fact that both Ms. Hoffman and Mr. Bergstrom are Jewish. Brooks was the only one who James L. Brooks, who was the only one who suggested the pseudonym, what Hoffman immediately liked. The cast of the show flew to New York to record the episode with Hoffman. Yardley Smith, who provided the voice of Lisa, said she grew up as an actress after working with Hoffman that day. As we'll see later on, Hoffman was not the only one to do this, as Michael Jackson had pretty much the exact same scenario when he guest starred on Stargrave and Dad. And I think it's also funny to mention, too, that Dustin Hoffman would later be seen as the voice of in a Opus and Bill Christmas special, A Wish for Wings That Work, which we've talked about on this channel before. So if you haven't seen that one, check out the link in the corner. But, he was in that one along with Robin Williams, and I think he also used a pseudonym for that name too, or just simply went uncredited. I'm looking it up here. Yeah, he did go uncredited for that, and it's funny because Robin Williams was the one who went with a pseudonym, literally named Sudi Nim. Like, I guess you could definitely hear that as him in that special. But back to this episode, though. How was it? It's about as good as everyone puts it. It is a really strong, well-put-together episode that works not only because of the good comedy. There isn't even that much comedy in the episode, honestly. It works because it's another great character study on Lisa and even Homer. When you really look at it, Dustin Hoffman's Mr. Bergstrom is very much like the Mary Poppins of the scenario, trying to be a nice and interesting person who can relate to Lisa and her likes. He's not trying to upstage anybody. He doesn't have this sinister backwards plan or anything like that. The relationship that he and Lisa have during the episode is that, the student it's not the typical, the student's falling for the teacher scenario like we've seen in many TV shows before this episode aired and after this episode aired. He's legitimately a nice, caring person who understands what Lisa is going through and tries to help her and Homer bond better as daughter and father, even though Homer doesn't see it himself, which leads to the most memorable moment of the entire episode. Actually, the second most memorable moment of the episode. I'll get to that in just a second, but it leads to a great moment where Lisa just finally snaps at Homer, calling him simply a baboon.
I'm glad I'm not crying, because I would hate for you to think that what I'm about to say is based on emotion. But you, sir, are a baboon!
Me?
Yes, you! Baboon, 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 baboon!
I don't think you realize what you're saying.
Baboon!
Granted, we've seen Lisa get mad or upset at Homer in the past, but watching this moment, you can really feel how angry she was. Like, this was something that was building up for a long, long time, and you usually keep your frustrations and your griefs to yourself, but there's that one breaking point, one bad day where you're gonna piss off this person to a point where it's finally gonna come out, and in this case, it came out in a big, big way. This was building up for a long time, and then there it was, out in the open. It's actually kind of hard to watch how realistic this argument plays out. I mean, like I said, we've had that one moment where we want to snap at our parents for something they did, and that's the first big moment for Lisa to do that. With the way that that's resolved, but the way that they resolved that and also resolved the other subplot involving Bart losing the election because nobody voted, it's done very well. It does give a great job of giving a realistic scene where Homer helps both Bart and Lisa through their situations. And let's talk about the moment everyone remembers, of course, when, it's the scene where Lisa and Mr. Bergstrom share one more scene at the train station. She rushes there to catch him and confesses that she would be lost without him. And to comfort her, he writes her this note and tells her that if she ever feels alone, like she cannot rely on anybody, its contents, and all she needs to know is that, he then boards the train and departs, and he writes this note, and he basically tells Lisa to read the note, and it says, simply and effectively, "You are Lisa Simpson." It's a nicely executed scene with a great message about life, and if you ever feel insecure about yourself, you can pretty much use this method to make yourself feel better. Actually, I'm not sure about this, but I want to take a guess and say that maybe Sofia Coppola used this as the inspiration for the scene at the end of Lost in Translation. The scene where Bill Murray whispers something into Scarlett Johansson's ear. I just get the feeling that she kind of did that, because it's weird, because both scenes kind of play out the same way. It's simplistic. It doesn't, it's like, you don't really, and it leaves you a lot of thinking about this. Like, why would Bergstrom write this down and would help Lisa feel happy? Or the same reason you would say, what did Bill Murray whisper into Scarlett Johansson's ear at the end? Like, you never get a straightforward answer, but it does lead to a lot of interpretations of how you can view that. It's another one of those episodes that I haven't necessarily ranked in my top episodes, but it's another classic episode that just works not on the comedy circuit, but more in developing the characteristics of Lisa and Homer, and also giving a good role for Dustin Hoffman and not just putting him in there as typical stunt casting. It's an episode that proves The Simpsons isn't just your typical animated comedy series, and it proves that just enough great character arcs and great drama as real TV shows can. It's one of those great episodes. I don't think I need to tell you. It's one of those ones that it's kind of required watching. When you're watching the best episodes of the show, you gotta go to Lisa Substitute easily.
That's the problem with being middle class. Anybody who really cares will abandon you for those who need it more.
I understand. Mr. Bergstrom, I'm gonna miss you.
Well, I'll tell you what. Whenever you feel like you're alone and there's nobody you can rely on, this is all you need to know.
Thank you, Mr. Bergstrom.
All aboard!
So, I guess this is it. If you don't mind, I'll just run alongside the train as it speeds you from my life.
Goodbye, Lisa, honey. It'll be okay. Just read the note.